of Greece in understanding, and Greece and the Mediterranean understanding about optimal diets, partly because of the very extensive study done by Ansel Keys and his colleagues. We in Italy saw where Keys lived, but if you actually look at his publications, the lowest cardiovascular mortality was in Crete. And that was neglected for a long time, but it was really important and seminal in putting us back on track from a diet that was just avoid all fat and load up on any kind of carbohydrate, which was the direction nutrition advice was going in the 1990s and actually till not too far back in time. At that time, actually I was fortunate to have been in Greece in the 1960s for a little while, and that was the time that Ansel Keys wrote about, and his Greek colleagues, of course, who had a huge role in putting together the Greek part of the data. People were living a life that was pretty close to what they had been living for thousands of years, that men were out in the fields cutting wheat by sickles, and there were stone circles, the donkeys were going around, and the grain was being threshed right there on those stone circles. So people were having basically whole grains and fairly minimally refined at that time. But also glycemic load was low because fat was high, and so the total dietary glycemic load, I don't think I've seen actual statistics on that, but it had to be quite low because of the healthy fat and relatively minimally refined forms of carbohydrate. So a lot has changed since that time, and it's pretty interesting that, parenthetically, that Greece and Crete had those very low rates of cardiovascular disease, despite having about the highest rate of smoking in the world. It was about 80% of men at that time. So it really, I think, is impressive how diet and lifestyle could even overcome that huge smoking rate. So we spent the last few days here looking in depth at some of the aspects of the Mediterranean diet, but also finding out, talking about ways that we could sort of recapture some of the benefits that have been lost, not in Greece, but around the whole world. So it's, again, wonderful to be here. We're great to have China represented this time, and things have changed a lot there as well. And all across Asia, really every country almost is being affected by the consequences of unhealthy carbohydrates. And of course, that's why we're here. So again, thank you very much for joining us. Thank you especially to the organizers, and I'll turn it over to David to say a few words.
Thank you, Walt. After that, I think I only need to say a few words. So let me just say thanks so much to our scientific committee, Olivia, John, Andrea, and Cyril, who helped to put this together. And it's so glad that they did put it together, because it brings a lot of old friends together to chat about a very important topic. And I don't want to say too much about the topic because Walter said that, but I do want to say that if you're going to eat a more plant-based diet, carbohydrate is essential. Jenny would say that it's fruit that we should have been, we evolved to eat, and that's fair enough too, but it was carbohydrate. And so if one's going to be on an environmentally friendly diet, then I think carbohydrate is essential. And right now, I think the message is that we have to be environmentally friendly. And I think that's where our meeting together to make carbohydrate an important feature, determine its health qualities, is tremendously important, probably now more than it's been ever before. So thank you all for coming, and I'm so glad to see so many friends.